Well, we're here just to consider a very important development. Ben Bradshaw is moving a 10-minute rule bill on Tuesday, and the bill will abolish 2 of the 4 quad locks introduced to protect churches and other places of worship. So it's a very, very significant development. Now, the bill focuses in on the Church of England. That's right, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. So if we go back to 2013, to when the same-sex couples marriage legislation was introduced, the Act, there were obviously the concerns around religious freedom at that time, and so the Act included 4 layers, as it were, of protection.
And these are the quad locks?
Yeah, quadruple lock. So you have protection so that no individual minister or religious organisation can be compelled by any means to conduct same-sex marriages. You have protection that means that the governing body of the religious organisation,
like a denomination,
yes,
or faith.
Yeah, that's right. And church ministers have to opt in, and the building has to be specifically registered for same-sex weddings. So that's sort of the second layer of protection. You have protection so the Equality Act can't be used to bring a discrimination claim against any minister or organisation for not opting in. And then you have specific protections attaching to the Church of England, reflecting its special status, so that canon law was left unchanged, and that really they were completely outside the 2013 regime altogether.
But the basic point was that no church or place of worship could be compelled.
That's right.
Now, under his bill, that the denomination, the Church of England, would be compelled to conduct same-sex marriages. So that completely trashes one of the quad locks, and also trashes the protection for the canon law of the Church of England. Because as we know recently, there are a number of very pro same-sex marriage bishops who wanted the canon law to change, but there isn't the votes in the Church of England. They can't get it through, and so they have tried a different route by having some special prayer of blessing to be brought through. But in fact, the doctrine cannot be changed without the General Synod agreeing it. That's the theory, but this bill completely smashes that. It imposes law onto the Church of England as it bypasses the General Synod. That's the effect.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's very serious indeed. It could lead to the unravelling of all protections, really.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you start chipping away at part of the quad lock, then it feels like everything is up for grabs. And it's important to say, of course, that this is a motion. It's a 10-minute rule motion, which means Ben Bradshaw can speak for 10 minutes in support of the motion, and someone, if they're minded, can speak for 10 minutes to oppose it. And that will be as far as it goes for now. But it's very much a testing of the defences. And to see what kind of response there is. If there is no response, then it obviously emboldens people like Ben Bradshaw to go further in the future and do something that will actually change the law.
Now, Ben Bradshaw was one of those who said it was the prerogative of the Church of England, the Roman Catholic Church, not to do same-sex marriage. He's abolishing that, and he's completely done a U-turn on that.
Yeah. So in the debates around same-sex marriage in 2013, he specifically said, the leadership of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church as well have chosen not to go down to allow same-sex marriages, and that is their prerogative, he said. But clearly he's usurping that now.
Yeah. And Yvette Cooper was the Home Affairs spokesman at the time.
The Equality spokesman, She was the Labour front bench dealing with the bill and speaking to it, and she repeatedly said, no religious organisation should be compelled or required to conduct same-sex marriage, and that very much reflects what the government was saying at the time as well.
So Maria Miller, I think, was the minister at the time,
minister,
and she said the same thing. It was ironclad protection.
Ironclad protections,
Yeah. So we've seen in a space of just 10 years how now there's a real frontal attack on those whole protections.
Absolutely.
Right. If this bill did proceed, and in theory there are cases of 10-minute rule bills becoming law, although in this case it seems unlikely, But it is important we take a stand on this because it's such a central attack, really. But if it did proceed, then you would have a situation where the Church of England had to make provision for same-sex marriage. It wouldn't have any choice about the matter. Although in theory, I suppose, individual clergy would not have to conduct same-sex marriage.
So it's being framed as enabling, so that the Church of England ministers that want to would be enabled to conduct same-sex marriages, which they're precluded from at the moment. But at that level, if you were to enable individual ministers who want to, you are having to compel the denomination as a whole to allow it. That's right. But if we're talking about eroding two such key parts of the Quad Locks, how long do we think the individual protections for ministers will last after that?
Exactly. So, Dave, it is very important, isn't it, that those who are concerned about this let their MPs know their views.
That's absolutely right. As I was saying, it's a testing of the defences, and unless there is a robust response, then we can expect to see more steps in the future.
Thanks very much, David.